remember I told you that I'm starting something new called Embracing the Awkward, and I feel like this is a good transition.
Do you want me to pretend that you're right here because you're off camera, and I'll just keep having the conversation?
You could, or you could gaze intently at this camera.
Okay.
That would be fun too.
Let's do that.
But yeah, so it's story time for you right now.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
I would like you to tell me a story where you embraced the awkward.
Oh.
So like a social situation that you were in and you felt really awkward, and it may or may not have been a time where those people recognized that you were awkward, but for you, it was
That's right. You gave this to me, and I
gave you the prompt.
I have like a bunch of half-formed experiences. I'm trying to think. I rarely feel awkward. Like I rarely. Oh, embraced it though. The times it takes a lot to sort of embarrass me or make me feel awkward. And so when it happens, it's really hard for me to embrace it because, oh, hey, nice. Because it takes so much for me to feel that way, when I do feel that way, it's a pretty big deal, and so therefore it's very hard to embrace. If it was a very moderate awkwardness, then I might embrace it more. Embracing the awkward. Okay, so I was kind of drunk, and I was giving toasts just around the room, right? Because that's what you do when you're drunk.
Yeah, okay.
And it was fun. People were having fun, and there were a few jokes, but I was just trying to be sincere in what I was saying, and I got to someone for whom I, at the moment, given that I was drunk, didn't have a very insightful thing to say about them. The previous 4 or 5 had, don't want to say had been very insightful, but they were good toasts. And this one wasn't that good. And it was awkward because this person, I think, took it pretty personally. Mm. And because I was drunk, I wasn't in a position to sort of smooth it over.
Did you try to?
No, and that's what I mean by embracing the awkward. I think this is why it counts. This might not be what you mean, but like rather than sort of like go, hey, I was just like, what? This is how it is. I said what I felt. What do you want me to do? Afterwards, I went and I, apologized if I had said anything off or whatever. But, yeah, I was too inebriated to try to avoid the awkwardness, so I just tried to meet it head on. The funny thing is when you embrace the awkward, sometimes it just makes everyone else feel even more awkward, and I think that's what happened. But they were all kind of drunk too, so I don't know.
Half of them don't remember it anyway.
Exactly.
And then you just brought it back. They're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
And then people, if anyone happened to be there, like right now, they're just getting really
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kris is a douchebag, man. So.
No more bringing him to parties. If you start toasting, beware.
My grandmother always said, this is sort of similar to that. My grandmother's always said, anytime you walk into a group of people, whether you know them or not, whether you have a good relationship or not, just assume everyone wants to be your friend and everyone wants to help you. Because half the time you're going to be right.
Yeah.
The other half, you don't get anything by playing their game. So you're not going to win them over, or you might, but you're not going to win them over by being standoffish or being, fatalistic or whatever.
Yeah.
You just win by just assuming everyone wants to be your friend. The people who don't and think you're lame, well, they already thought you were lame, so you're not losing anything. So
that's awesome advice.
It's easier said than done, but she used to do it.
Yeah, it is really good because I've noticed like a lot of people that they walk in and they're just kind of like, "Hi, here I am," and more often than not, like if they're not pompous about it, like people will embrace them as opposed to the ones that go in automatically thinking that they're going to be disliked.
Yeah,
it's harder because they're so closed off. That
attitude, you can't win with that one. Can't win with it. Yep, they were beaten before you even tried to save them. So yeah, but we all do it.
It is. I think it's humanness. We worry about things that we don't necessarily need to worry about because we don't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So you say that you don't often feel awkward. Is that because you try to avoid awkward situations, or because you just accept that that's
one.
Who you are?
Yeah, it happens. I have the type of personality where I'm kind of outspoken and kind of intense, so it's going to happen.
Cool. It's a good way to be.
Yeah.
Especially in this industry, you have to be.
Yeah, and back to cycles, there are times where I feel like I'm in middle school all over again, where I'm just like, oh, I'm this awkward person, and oh, no one likes me. And then there's other times where I just go, oh yeah, remember when I used to care back when I was 13? So we vacillate back and forth between being okay with who we are and feeling like worms. So
yeah, nice. Yeah. And I think that's where the whole idea of doing that story thing came about, because the first few interviews that I did, and not that I'm, like I said, you're number 6. Yeah, because 5 haven't aired yet. Yours will probably should come first.
Okay.
Regardless, I, again, like with how we were trying to start, I'm like, I don't really know how to start. I don't know how to end them. I just know how to talk to people. So I've got everything in between.
Yeah.
So the beginning and the ending of my interviews are always really awkward. And I'm just like, instead of trying to figure out a formula that works, I'm like, I'm just going to embrace that. So if I do something and it's weird, like, that's me and that's who I am and that's what I want the show to be about. So I'm going to embrace that. So that's kind of like where that idea came about, to have people tell those stories.
Great.
Again, so that our viewers can relate.
Yeah. Relate, viewers.
Relate to Drunk to
Listeners.
a Story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch going on, so I'm going to let you go.
Yeah. No, okay. Thank you so much. I was just going to say,
welcome.
my wife's got to go swim, and hopefully we'll get our internet hooked up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandrene.
You're
glad
welcome.
we got to make it work.
For sure.
Alrighty. Well, tell your friends about Airbnb. It's called Southtown Oasis.
It's going to be
If
awesome.
you've got people coming in and they want to use our pool table and our saltwater pool and our home theater and this wonderful downstairs man cave, wonderful basement apartment. It's like 1,200 square feet. It's wonderful. Plug.
Yeah, everyone come to Nashville and stay here.
Thanks.
Sure. Bye.